What's going on? Let's talk about Sevier County. Where in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg would be a good place for a residential for you to live full time versus where it might not be? Now, Sevierville is the home to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. It's the kind of the entrance into the Smokies. It's where we have Wears Valley, connects over to Townsend. So a lot of it is perceived as only tourist area, but you have a lot of people that actually live in Sevier County, just not so much in the tourist area. So let's jump into the map. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about because some locations get overlooked by people that are relocating here that could actually be really great. So let's jump in and let's look at the map and get going. Okay, so here I'm going to show you two different things. First of all, this is just a general map of Sevier County. A couple things to note. Sevier County is this outlined here in the red and white dots. To the west, a little bit is Knoxville. To the west, a little bit is Maryville. If we're going to go east, this would be going, if we go northeast, that's going to be going toward Jefferson City, Morristown. If we go further east, you're going into North Carolina, towards Asheville and that kind of thing. So also just want to point out to you that you do have, Sevier County does house part of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. You see areas like Wears Valley, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Pittman Center, Caton's Chapel. So all of this is Sevier County. So yes, you do have a lot of mountain area in Sevier County. And you do have areas that are more touristy than others, which is what I wanted to point out to you. The other thing I wanted to point out to you about Sevier County is you can see how you've got the Great Smoky Mountains National Park here. But then towards the top, like northeast, you have Douglas Lake. So you can see Douglas Lake is primarily in Jefferson County, like all of this is Dandridge here, but you do have some Sevier County property that is lakefront. So all of this little, that is all Sevier County property. So just something to kind of keep in mind when we talk about Douglas Lake. And I also want to point out to you that this does actually stretch across I-40. This exit right here, this is exit 407. This is where the Buc-ee's is. And is an area called Kodak. So just so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. And then another thing I want to point out to you is Sevierville. Here's downtown Sevierville. And if we go down 441, this is what we call Chapman Highway. This comes into Seymour and takes you all the way into downtown Knoxville. So like when I was a kid, for example, if we were going to go to Dollywood, sometimes we would take 40. So we would go I-40 to exit 407 here. Or sometimes my mom would take us down Chapman Highway. Now as a kid, I was like, oh God, this is so much longer. And it's probably actually the same, which is funny to think about now. But anyhow, we would go, you have more than one option essentially. But the whole purpose of this is I just want to show you that there's parts of Sevier County that are more residential and parts that are more for tourist/investment properties. And I want to just show you this map. This map is from AirDNA. And this is Sevier County. So first of all, you can see this is a very active short-term rental market. So this is pulling from Airbnb, VRBO, and other sources. So you can see like in Gatlinburg, if I zoom in, you have a heavy presence of short-term rentals here. Not so much here because a lot of these are just like literally up the side of a cliff. But I also wanted to show you that the further out from Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg that you get, like see this area here, this is all Seymour. This is more like residential. And then this area Kodak, this is more residential. Whereas as you come into Sevierville, you are finding more investment properties. So when you're thinking, okay, is Sevierville a place to live? Absolutely. But you probably don't want to be in the middle of a bunch of short-term rentals and tourism. Like when I say go-kart riding, Ripley's Believe It or Not. I mean, like all this tourist stuff, which is great. But when you're thinking about Sevier County, you're thinking, okay, Seymour, Boyd's Creek area, Kodak, this is still part of Seymour and back end of like Sevierville, Pigeon Forge. And then Douglas Lake has quite a bit of full-time residential on it. That is part of Sevier County. So even though, yes, you do have short-term rentals there, by the way, if you're like, what's the difference? The purples are short-term listings, and then the blues are also short-term listings that are currently for sale. Also, just want to point out to you that as you go east towards North Carolina, towards Cosby, this is Cott County. As you go that way, you do also have less short-term rentals, but that's certainly more rural. So when you're thinking about what areas of Sevierville should I be in, you're wanting to be closer to downtown Sevierville. So if we were to look at like that on a map, the thing is that you have, this is 66, this is the parkway coming in. You see downtown Sevierville. So pretty much this piece of pie that is kind of from Seymour this way, Seymour to Sevierville, a lot of that whole chunk is all residential. And the other thing to think about is, well, how would you be driving through and notice this? Well, because when you come down this parkway, you're going to see Chick-fil-A, you're going to see Target, you're going to see Publix, you're going to see Kroger. If you're thinking Sevier County, it's like, okay, well, where is this in relation to the brand new Target that literally just opened right before Christmas in Sevier County? That's implying more of a residential feel versus a short-term rental feel. Now, obviously, you could live anywhere, but it just depends, what kind of vibe you're looking for. So Sevier County certainly does have options. I mean, there's a Hobby Lobby here. So obviously, people are living in this area. Like, tourists aren't necessarily going to Hobby Lobby every day. There's also a Staples here. This is right, just that whole area is all kind of just like, more people that are living in Sevier County versus those that are coming in and out for tourist reasons. So when it comes to Sevier County, certainly Sevier County could be a great option for. And I think because what happens is when I say Sevierville and people want to be close to things, or they want to be close to the mountains or whatever, Sevierville is a great option. It's just whether or not you want to be right in the thick of short-term rentals or not. So when you kind of look on a map, if you just search for Sevier County Target, if you're looking at a Sevierville property and it's close to this kind of area with Hobby Lobby and Target and all that, that's going to probably be more of a residential area than a short-term rental area. So just something to think about when you are looking at Sevier County. Sevier County is beautiful, certainly a great option. Just be mindful that certainly more areas are more of an investment type space, and strictly cabins and other areas are neighborhoods where you are not allowed to short-term rent. So just be aware. If you're wanting to short-term rent, know the rules. And if you're wanting to purchase and not be around a bunch of mountain cabins, then check into that as well. And Google Maps is a great place to do that because you can literally zoom in down to the street and check out what's happening on that street. Look at this versus if I zoom back out and I go towards Gatlinburg, what we are going to see, like this is Gatlinburg proper. A lot of this got burned down in the fire. So what is this? This isn't telling me the age of this. So a lot of this still is being developed here in Gatlinburg. But if we go towards, here's a good example. Like these are all cabins, right? See that? Cabins versus, and you can see that resort, blah, 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 Westgate Resort versus like if I go this way, you're going to see a lot more neighborhoods. So just be aware that you have a combination of neighborhoods and cabins, and the closer in general you are to downtown Sevierville or towards Seymour or Kodak, the more residential that's going to be as opposed to short-term rental places. So anyways, either one is fine. Just want to point out to you that there are kind of it's an interesting area because you do have, yes, the most amount of tourists that ever visit a national park annually is to the Great Smoky Mountains. So we have a ton of people coming to visit constantly, but also it could be a great option as a place to live full time. You just want to choose wisely. So I hope this has been helpful. As always, I'm Haley Jones, and I will see you on the next video.